Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of the Metagame Minute, your once weekly follow-up podcast to the hit show Chaotic Amateurs. With me are the Chaotic Amateurs, and we're going reverse horn order, starting with Dashkel, starting with Dash Smash, Mr. Wolf Balls himself. Just because, there was a lot of talking, a lot of intellectual exchange, and I think Wolf realizes that he's a true
intellectual exchange is those are some heavy words. It's really overshooting for what it is that we do. Fair enough. But what's your question?
Oh, no real question. I just kind of wanted to hear. I guess if I could pose it as a question, what's Wolf's take on getting a body for Florian? Because that's pretty cool. Do you think Tiernan is somebody that we can trust? Because I think that we all thought we could trust Julia. And I don't know, anything else that you want to share on top of that?
What does he think about what happened with Ball and Riff?
Yeah, that's kind of a big one.
Yeah, that's pretty upsetting.
I thought he was fairly explicit in the episode what he thought about it.
Yeah, that was he was pretty let down. I mean, it was like the equivalent of putting a soldier on a posting and then literally everything the guy was guarding gets ransacked and destroyed, and then he's just like, you are worthless. Why did they hire you as a soldier? That's basically what it felt like to him. Just that everything could go so wrong.
Yeah. It's when they say, who do you want to be in a foxhole with? But Wolf has just a bunch of toddlers.
Yeah.
Front lines.
Yeah, and as far as the Tiernan, I don't think he doesn't trust him. I mean, he's just excited to get Florian like a body and a new lease on life, and a chance to kind of do whatever it is he wants. And in a way, this is just another one of Wolf's many science experiments.
Yeah. What does Wolf think when Tiernan says, hey, if we could get kind of the bead on Julia, do you guys want to go after her for money and fame or whatever? What's Wolf think about that?
He's excited about a hunt, and tracking someone down. He's excited about the challenge of possibly taking on someone pretty strong. But money, favors, that stuff, I don't know, it's never really mattered to my character, because his whole thing is all about proving himself in combat and worshiping his god Cord and spreading the good news, and and apparently science.
Absolutely. I love this newfound passion. Bentley, Rothfirian. So you found out that the skeleton guy might be in some way more closely related to you. We've talked about it kind of before in Metagame Minute, but what's interesting is I wanted a chance to talk to Riff this episode one-on-one as Arthur, but I didn't get the chance because I also have this dagger that has this stuff on it that looks like it could be related to your family in some way or something. So anyway, you got that thing, that insignia, which was really interesting to me. And then trying to get your bag of devouring, I was kind of trying to swing some favors for the party, maybe to get that. I don't know. He was kind of shrugged it off, well, I got other shit to work on too. But so where's Riff at with all this kind of, and then also coming off the idea that this giant robot's gone too?
Yeah, I was very excited to have that. I didn't know how Alex wanted to play it, so I just kind of kept my mouth shut until you guys kind of figure it out. And I was just trying to be awkward, maybe they won't notice it's gone. And just hey guys, how you doing? She doesn't really feel she was Mr. Wolf's words definitely hurt her because she didn't do it. She reacted to what was, Mr. Ball did it all. He's the one who just tried to steal from her, and he walked up on the chest and started it. And had he not done that, none of it would have happened. So she feels bad that she let down Mr. Wolf and that she couldn't do anything, but also she's 2'10" and it's a 60-foot tall fucking robot. So, it's out of her sort of skill set and her chucks. skill set. But
sort of begs the question then: is like Ball the bad guy? Like, is he like the bad guy for this campaign? Like, started the giant robot war.
I don't think he's the bad guy. I think he's the he has his own agenda for sure, as Milo tends to. There's the agenda that goes with the group, and then what Milo's agenda is. Riff definitely is a little bit more weary of him, and will kind of like, within the group be on a different, like, she'll stand on the opposite side of where he is, kind of thing. And then, I am interested in the whole bag of devouring thing and hearing how much like that was going to cost and that sort of stuff. Also, Riff's a little, still a little bit weary of Tyrion. Like, she really wants to share like the book of like the robot movements and like, and share with them like all this information of like how the troops don't go near the mages towers, and like share with him like about the rainwater and like what that did and all that. But then at the same time, like, she wanted to share all that stuff with Julia too, and the fucking bitch took off in a UFO with a 60-foot robot. So she always seems to be getting let down. She's like, "Oh, I think I can trust this person." Nah, nope, they screwed me over. She's starting to get a little bit more of that world weariness to her, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, for my section here, I was really surprised to hear that robot went away. But like, for me, it was like the most fitting thing that could have happened. Like when we split up the party and talked about like how silly of an idea it might have been to do.
And I'm glad we didn't listen in. I liked being surprised by it.
I kind of think that was perfect. And not only that, I think it's like, how much more vindication can you get for the guy who like wouldn't shut up about the floating rock, and now there's like a giant robot on the loose that we could have maybe investigated sooner. I don't know, but so one of the things that we just kind of gave up on has become a very, very interesting and even potential focal point for our gameplay.
I know Mr. Ball and I talked about it last Metagame Minute, like during our session, but we were just going to be like, what happened? I don't know what happened. Like, what?
It is gone.
Oh my God, there's a robot missing.
I could totally have envisioned it. Like, we come marching back, like if this is like a Marvel movie, we come marching back and it's like, well, fuck all this noise. The damn skeleton's all dead. Mr. Wolf smashed him to pieces. Pack up your shit. Let's get on out of here. And like, okay, let's go. Don't look that way. Just keep going. Yeah. And we hit the road without ever looking at the giant robot that's gone. Which is just hilarious because I probably might not have noticed it, but and then also, just really interested. I'm really interested in having this chat with Riff about this dagger, maybe even Mr. Bald, see if there's anything magical or interesting about it.
I have a question for you about that, right? What makes you think it's related to Riff's?
Well, because he had this insignia that, and then when I gave it to Riff, the DM said like, hey, like that insignia, roots and branches and blah, 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 kind of reminds you of yours. And this dagger has like intricate work on the hilt. And
that's right, vines.
Stuff that's like vines and maybe even roots and stuff. So I'm not saying it's necessarily like a 1-for-1 equivalent, but it has a theme going on that I think kind of could be related. And then, also just kind of interested to see in the way that the Ball and Riff's relationship pans out, because on one hand, they've been sort of close, being sort of like the research arm of our party. And now like there seems like maybe there's some irrevocable breach of trust here. So I'm kind of interested to see how that kind of plays out.
It's up and down with me and Mr. Ball for sure. Cause like at the beginning, he it'll seem to be fine. And then he does something, whatever it is within his motivation or whatever, where I think this is like the second or third time it's happened with him. And I think it's something happened like in the 4th season at the Chateau where Riff was not a fan of Mr. Ball for a while after that. And that's like one of my character things is the personality traits is, my favorite one's lost forever, is lost forever or whatever. So it's like,
Yeah. Caleb, Scory, Telbrin, Mr. T-shirt himself.
Yeah.
I don't remember anything that you did, and that's not because it wasn't interesting. I just don't remember. So go ahead and do your metagame minute. I'll butt in with questions if I remember.
Well, Gosh, I'm wondering, should we have told Tiernan about the UFO?
I don't know.
Because when we started sharing stuff with Tiernan, Milo, as Mr. Ball, you said maybe we shouldn't tell him everything.
Yeah,
and so now that's got me concerned.
My instinct is always that secrets are money, you know, because like Zephyrus's kind of whole way through life before was sort of secrets and that whole thing. So just giving it up doesn't feel good to Arthur, but I think that it's done. He's not going to lose too much. Like, you know, he's kind of watching like the gold roll down the hill or whatever. But
I must say, I am very. Tiernan is now one of my favorite characters, I think, because of the whole, especially when you brought up the Dragon Council, and he's like, I made a mistake once, I will never do it again. That was the best, in my opinion. But no, I am excited for the next chapter because I feel like we just kind of completed a big deal now. I need to get my weapon enchanted. That's kind of Scory's main focus after this little Q&A session with Tiernan. Found out some good information, I feel like, about Julia and whatnot, and I'm excited for that whole thread.
Yeah, gonna have to chop off her hands.
Yeah, chop off her hands.
Cut out her tongue.
Yeah, whatever we got to do. You know, because we'll
find all of our hideouts and just scorch them, dude.
Yeah,
leave no land to go to. I was curious too, going into Mr. Ball's, going into Milo's part of the metagame minute. I was thinking when we were talking about where she could be, where she might have tools and blah, 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 blah. And like, maybe she has some of those at her hideout, but I was thinking like, what is with the hold right now? Like, is the hold still like useful to the mages? Has it been abandoned? Maybe she went to the hold, which is like this fortified like place in its own little pocket dimension that has stuff. She could definitely park a giant robot out front there.
Yeah.
Like in the yard where we were, you know, goofing off with those guys, and Mr. Wolf was beating some dudes with a 2x4, like in the movie Fire Down Below, when he beats him up with the lumber and he's like, "You broke my lumber," you know, Steven Seagal. Okay, anyway, Milo. Yeah, lots of interesting things we come back and find. You just want to kind of take us through, and also your interactions with Tiernan. You know, we all kind of had our own motivations, but I liked you seeing you haggle kind of with almost like a peer of yours, like a contemporary. It was kind of interesting seeing the back and forth of like two professors who are experts in this field. You know, so what's Ball thinking?
I think the biggest thing is the like feeling of betrayal of like someone that he kind of trusted. And that's kind of going to weigh on him and going to affect like what he wants to share with people outside of the group. That's kind of what came up in Tiernan's interaction and stuff. Normally, I'm not the kind of player that withholds information. I really like sharing information and stuff, so could be kind of interesting playing it that way. As far as Tiernan goes, as far as the magical components, like I could use those. I don't need to sell it to him if I'm going to get it at a like lower price than what they're worth. So I'm fine with just holding on to those. And I still have wolves too. I don't know if Dash you wanted to sell or not, but I didn't bring it up in the thing. Yeah, I think that's about it. Ball is just Ball. I mean, he saw an opportunity as far as the big robot goes to do science and investigate something, and he doesn't feel anything about that. That's who he is. That's what he would have done regardless.
So nice. if you've now seen Chain repair and get like a super special leg, and now you've seen this robot self-repair, are you at all interested to see what it does to you?
No.
Really? That would be the first thing I would do.
It's a unknown substance of some kind of magical origin that's related to the mages, who I know are not good people. I would definitely not be Ball would definitely not be interested in putting it on himself.
Interesting.
You said in the episode that Julia taught you a valuable lesson. Do you want to say in the metagame minute explicitly what that lesson is?
Oh, it's just the withholding of information.
Gotcha.
That's what she did to get to get what she wanted. It's not necessary. It's a negative against her, but it's also something that Ball recognizes. This can be very valuable to get what you want to.
I like that. Alex, have we beat your game? Are we the next level yet? And
I think you're close. I don't know. I don't think you've beat the game yet. I mean, there's still stuff out there. Seems like, right?
no credits yet.
No credits yet. Not even like fake credits to like pretend to like try and, you know, try and distract you from the real enemies. No, I'm excited that we're back at the outposts. I'm excited for that, you know, back at Tiernan's. You guys have a number of contracts and people to talk to and get some money.
We got to figure out what we're gonna do. Do you have a way you want us to go next, or are you just kind of whatever?
No, with things like this, I mean, there's things that'll happen, but you know, when you have a mission, I know kind of where to focus on, and flesh out, and that has been the Tower of Chaos and the Outposts and the Wastes. You know, we're going to probably pivot somewhere, but I'm not sure where. You know, that's really going to be up to you guys where this story ends up going. You've got a lot of different threads. There's a lot of little crumbs to follow. It'll be up to you guys what is really pulling you, and what direction is pulling you.
Excellent. Glad to hear it.
Beat some ass.
Okay, everybody.
$240 a piece for the core. If we want to divide it evenly.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you for lugging that around so we could get paid.
Yeah, I straight up forgot that. I'm sure he gave you some amount of money, but he forgot and I forgot. So,
well, I'm glad I could just throw out a number and it seemed reasonable. So,
next time, default to higher.
I thought I was going for $1,200 a piece, and we got $1,200 out of it, and a favor. So,
yeah, that's good.
Okay, well, thanks everybody. This has been your Metagame Minute, your once weekly follow-up podcast to Chaotic Amateurs. We'll be back on Monday, so grab your sword, keep on adventuring.